Welcome back to my channel. Minai, doing 7 ways to dramatically improve your life. Watch till end. Number 1, take complete responsibility for your life. There comes a moment when you have to stop pointing at everything outside of yourself and start looking within. Your circumstances may not be your fault, but your response to those circumstances is your responsibility. That is where real change begins. You cannot control what happened yesterday. You cannot control what other people think, say, or do. You cannot control every opportunity that comes your way. But you can control your decisions. You can control your effort. You can control your attitude. And you can control what you choose to do next. The moment you accept responsibility, you take back your power. Too many people spend years waiting for the perfect opportunity, the perfect support, or the perfect circumstances. They tell themselves, when things get better, I'll start. But life rarely becomes perfect. If you keep waiting for perfect conditions, you may spend your entire life waiting. Responsibility means asking a different question. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what can I do about it? That question changes everything. If you made a mistake, learn from it. If you failed, study the failure. If you wasted time, stop wasting more. If you developed a bad habit, begin replacing it. You don't need to hate yourself for your past. You need to learn from it. Your past can explain you, but it does not have to control you. Every day gives you another opportunity to make better decisions. You can choose discipline over excuses. You can choose action over procrastination. You can choose courage over fear. Take responsibility for your health, your habits, your time, your relationships, your goals, and your personal growth. The moment you stop waiting for someone else to rescue your future, you become dangerous to your limitations. Your future is being built by what you do today. So take ownership, make the decision, take the first step, and keep moving. As your life changes when you decide that your life is your responsibility. S-N-M-B-R-2, master your daily habits. Your life is not changed by what you intend to do. It is changed by what you repeatedly do. Every day, you are building your future through small choices that may seem insignificant in the moment. The way you spend 1 hour, one morning, or one evening might not seem important, but repeated choices eventually become your lifestyle. If you want to dramatically improve your life, stop searching for a magical breakthrough and start mastering your daily habits. You don't need to change everything at once. Start with the habits that control the direction of your life. Wake up with a clear purpose. Plan your priorities. Spend less time on distractions. Read something that expands your thinking. Work on an important goal before giving your attention to everything else. The key is consistency. Motivation will come and go. Some mornings you will feel powerful, and other mornings you will feel tired and uncertain. That's why you cannot build your life around motivation. You must build it around discipline. Discipline means keeping promises to yourself, even when nobody is watching. If you decide to exercise, show up. If you decide to study, study. If you decide to work on your goal, work on it. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build confidence. Every time you repeatedly break your promises, you teach yourself that your decisions don't matter. Start small, but take your habits seriously. Instead of saying, I will completely change my life tomorrow, say, today I will make one better decision. Then make another tomorrow. Small improvements become powerful when repeated consistently. Also remember that bad habits don't disappear simply because you want them to. You must replace them. Replace endless scrolling with learning. Replace procrastination with immediate action. Replace negative thinking with productive questions. Your habits are silently shaping your identity, so choose them carefully. Build routines that make you stronger, wiser, more focused, and more disciplined. You don't need a perfect life. You need better days, repeated consistently. Master your habits, and eventually your habits will help master your future. And in MBR 3, fun fact, protect your mind. Your mind is the control center of your life. Before you change your circumstances, you must learn to manage what you allow to occupy your thoughts. Every idea you repeatedly consume, every voice you constantly listen to, and every message you accept without questioning can influence the way you see yourself and your future. That is why protecting your mind is not weakness. It is wisdom. You cannot live a powerful life while constantly feeding your mind with negativity. If you spend hours consuming fear, arguments, gossip, comparison, and endless distractions, eventually your thoughts begin to reflect what you consume. You become mentally tired before you even begin your day. Be intentional about what enters your mind. Read books that challenge you. Listen to ideas that teach you something. Spend time with people who encourage growth. Give yourself moments of silence where you can think without constant notifications demanding your attention. Your attention is valuable. Don't give it away to everything that asks for it. One of the greatest battles you will fight is the battle against negative thinking. A difficult situation may happen, but you still have a choice about the meaning you give it. Instead of saying, I can't handle this, ask, what can this teach me? Instead of saying, everything is going wrong, ask, what is one thing I can control right now? That shift in thinking creates strength. Protecting your mind also means learning to reject comparison. Someone else's progress does not mean you are failing. Their journey is not your journey. Focus on improving yourself rather than constantly measuring yourself against others. Guard your mental environment just as carefully as you would guard your physical environment. You don't have to believe every thought that enters your mind. You don't have to react to every opinion. You don't have to give every distraction your attention. Choose your thoughts. Choose your influences. Choose your focus. Because when you control what receives your attention, you begin to control the direction of your life. Protect your mind, strengthen your thoughts, and your actions will begin to change. And new MBR4, and then stop chasing comfort. Comfort feels safe. But if you spend your entire life protecting yourself from difficulty, you may also protect yourself from growth. Every meaningful achievement requires you to do something that feels uncomfortable at first. You have to learn before you become skilled. You have to struggle before you become stronger. You have to take risks before you discover what you are capable of. Stop asking, how can I make life easier? Start asking, how can I become stronger? That question changes your entire approach to life. When you always choose the easiest option, you train yourself to avoid challenges. You postpone important work because you don't feel motivated. You avoid difficult conversations because they make you uncomfortable. You quit when progress becomes slow. Eventually, comfort becomes a cage. But discomfort can become your training ground. Wake up and do the task you have been avoiding. Start the project even if you don't feel completely ready. Learn the skill that currently seems difficult. Speak up when something needs to be said. Keep working when the excitement disappears. Every time you willingly face a challenge, you prove to yourself that you are capable of handling more than you thought. This doesn't mean you should make life difficult for no reason. It means you should stop running from every challenge that could make you better. There is a difference between unnecessary suffering and meaningful effort. Choose challenges that build your character, knowledge, discipline, and confidence. Remember, growth rarely announces itself. Sometimes it looks like getting up when you would rather stay in bed. Sometimes it looks like practicing when nobody is watching. Sometimes it looks like failing, learning, and trying again. The person you want to become is often waiting on the other side of the work you keep avoiding. So stop demanding that everything feel easy before you begin. Choose discipline over convenience. Choose courage over avoidance. Choose growth over temporary comfort. Because comfort can give you a pleasant moment, but challenge can give you a stronger future. Don't run from difficulty. Let meaningful difficulty develop the strength you need to build the life you want. Na UMBR for faith. Surround yourself with growth. Minded people, the people around you can influence the way you think, the standards you accept, and the actions you take. You don't have to become exactly like the people you spend time with, but their attitudes can slowly shape your own. That's why choosing your environment is one of the most important decisions you can make. If you constantly surround yourself with people who complain about everything, blame everyone else, mock ambition, and refuse to grow, it becomes easier to adopt the same mindset. But when you spend time with people who are disciplined, curious, positive, and committed to improving themselves, their example can challenge you to raise your own standards. You need people who don't just tell you what you want to hear. You need people who encourage you while also challenging you to become better. Find people who talk about ideas instead of constantly talking about other people. Find people who celebrate progress instead of being threatened by someone else's success. Find people who admit mistakes, learn from failure, and keep moving forward. And remember, relationships are not only about what you receive. Ask yourself what kind of person you are bringing into someone else's life. Are you encouraging others? Are you dependable? Do you listen? Do you support people when they are working towards something meaningful? Do you inspire growth through your own example? You don't need a huge circle. A few healthy, positive relationships can have more impact than being surrounded by dozens of people who pull you backward. At the same time, don't become obsessed with cutting everyone out simply because they think differently from you. People can have different personalities and opinions while still treating each other with respect. The goal is not to create an identical circle. The goal is to build relationships that support healthy growth. Protect your time. Protect your attention. Be intentional about who receives your energy. Your environment matters because repeated influence becomes familiar and familiar behavior becomes easier to adopt. Choose people who remind you of your potential, challenge your excuses, and encourage you to keep moving forward. Surround yourself with growth, and eventually growth will become part of who you are. The CNMBR6 with our Samfar 4 focus on progress. Not perfection, one of the biggest traps that keeps people from changing their lives is the belief that everything has to be perfect before they begin. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect confidence, or the perfect circumstances. Meanwhile, time keeps moving. You don't need perfection. You need progress. The first attempt may be messy. The first step may feel uncomfortable. You may make mistakes, lose momentum, or discover that your original plan doesn't work. That's normal. Growth is not about getting everything right immediately. Growth is about learning, adjusting, and continuing. Think about how powerful small improvements become when you repeat them. Reading a few pages may not transform your mind in one day. Exercising once may not change your strength. Working on a goal for one afternoon may not produce dramatic results. But when those actions become consistent, they begin to compound. Never underestimate what small progress can create over time. Stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. You don't know how many failures, lessons, sacrifices, and difficult days they experienced before reaching where they are. Your responsibility is to improve your own position. Ask yourself a simple question every evening. Did I move forward today? Maybe you learned something. Maybe you completed an important task. Maybe you handled a difficult situation better than you would have in the past. Maybe you simply refused to quit. That counts. Progress is not always visible. Sometimes progress is developing patience. Sometimes it is becoming more disciplined. Sometimes it is learning what doesn't work. Don't let one bad day convince you that you've failed. A setback is an event, not an identity. Learn from it and continue. Perfection demands that you never make mistakes. Progress understands that mistakes are part of the process. So stop waiting until you feel ready. Start with what you have. Improve as you go. Take the next step, then another. Your goal isn't to become perfect overnight. Your goal is to become better than you were yesterday and keep becoming better tomorrow. NMBR 70 you were left a life for fem build a life with purpose. A meaningful life doesn't happen by accident. It is built through deliberate choices, clear values, and consistent action. Many people spend their days chasing money, approval, entertainment, or temporary success without ever asking themselves a deeper question. What am I actually building? Purpose gives your life direction. When you know what matters to you, decisions become easier. You begin to understand what deserves your time and what doesn't. You stop saying yes to everything and start protecting the things that truly matter. Purpose helps you move forward, even when motivation disappears, because you have a reason bigger than your current mood. You don't need to have your entire future figured out today. Purpose can become clearer as you learn, experience, and grow. Start by asking yourself what kind of person you want to become. What values do you want to live by? What skills do you want to develop? Who do you want to help? What kind of contribution would make you proud? Then connect those answers to your daily actions. A purpose without action is only an idea. If you want to become disciplined, practice discipline. If you want to help people, find ways to serve. If you want to build something meaningful, work on it consistently. Your purpose becomes real through what you repeatedly do. There will be difficult days. You will experience disappointment, uncertainty, and moments when you question yourself. That's when purpose becomes especially powerful. It reminds you that temporary discomfort doesn't have to determine your direction. Don't measure your entire life by how much you have accumulated. Measure it by how much you have learned, how much you have grown, and how much positive value you have created. Your life is limited, and your time is valuable. Don't spend it simply reacting to whatever demands your attention. Choose your direction. Build something worth waking up for. Become someone you respect. Use your abilities wisely. Make your days count. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a meaningful direction and the courage to keep moving. When your life has purpose, your struggles gain meaning, your actions gain direction, and your future gains possibility.